This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Don Florino says, which, if the three players, personnel guys, do you trust the most? Allen, McKenzie, or Greer? I trust all three of them, my man. I know of all three of them. Okay, I've known all three of them for over 20 years now in this business. So, what can I tell you? Maybe not over, but around 20 for most of them. So I trust all three of them. I keep telling you guys, I think we have an excellent personnel department. But and I would tell Chris Greer this right to his face, where I would tell him is, Chris, this is your show, dude. Hire your coach, but don't bend over for your coach. Okay? Take a suggestion from him. But if you, Marvin or Reggie, feel that this player is better than the one he's suggesting, you take the player you think is better. Let the coach them. Don't allow them to have power to shop for the groceries. They can suggest something. Okay? They can suggest it. But no. Oh, I want Hunts. No, we're taking Hines. It's fine. That's it. Okay? You go to the store? No, he wants Pepsi? No, we're going with Coke. Coke is better than Pepsi. Sorry, coach. It's the way it goes. Oh, I want grapefruit juice. Nah, we're going with cranberry, coach. We like cranberry more than grapefruit. Sorry, coach. Better. Coach him up. That's what he's got to do. And if he doesn't, it'll cost Reggie, Marvin, and Chris their jobs. That's what's going to end up happening. I mean, the writing's on the wall, right? You only get this one break. So next time, you got to make sure you have control of personnel, because how can they judge you if you allow somebody else to meddle in what you do? And Reggie does it way better than Flo, and Marvin Allen does it way better than Flo, and Chris Greer does it way better than Flo. So why are all those three guys going to defer to Flo? Why are you going to defer to Adam Gase or Joe Philbin? Joe Philbin was a whiny little bitch. He'd walk into that office practically every other day. I can't coach this guy. You got to get rid of him. It got to a point where they had to talk him out of it constantly. Like, coach, we cannot keep moving people just because you don't get along with them. You got to find a way to get along with some of these people. And, Parcells had characters on his team. Shula had characters on his team. Mike Tomlin has had characters on his team. You got to find a way to make it work. It's the way it is. It's you're not going to get 53 choir boys or whatever it is with the taxi squad now, practice squad, 60 something, 70 players. And they all went to catechism school. They all, studied religion. They all are really good boys. You know what I mean? No, that's just not the case, man. You're going to have hellraisers. You're going to have guys that, pushed all kinds of buttons and limits. And you've got to have an edge to yourself. And that's been the problem, by the way, that Joe Philbin had no edge. Adam Gase had no edge. And believe it or not, Flo had no edge. He had an attitude, not an edge. Those that have an edge know how to reach everybody. Shula had the edge because he can reach Mark Clayton and Mark Duper and get them to play, no matter whether they were complaining and bitching and going back and forth. He didn't have to worry about Bob Greasy. He didn't have to worry about Larry Zonka. But he had to deal with some characters over the years. Keith Jackson wasn't the most cooperating player during the week of practice. But Shula kind of knew that, okay, I could get him out there and practice a little bit, Sunday he's going to be a star for me. Do you think Shula was happy that Jackson didn't practice all week? No. But it's the Jimmy Johnson line. You can't treat everybody the same. And he's right, actually. It's a great line by Jimmy. But you have to learn how to treat different people. One guy may be not as mentally stable as another guy, right? Like, I don't have to worry about Tom Brady being unstable at any moment. He's always going to be Joe Cool all the time. So that's one back I don't need a massage. But you know what? I got to walk over here because maybe Leonard Fournette might be a little bit, I don't know if he is or not. I'm just using Fournette as an example. But he might be a little bit more of an emotional player, this, that, whatever. Gronk, Gronk's a little high wired. Maybe, you want to, get a little closer to, he's a hard worker and all that, but, he gets a little wild and maybe you want to pull him aside a little bit and, hey, focus a little bit. I need you to do this. You don't have to do that with Brady, but you may have to do that with Gronk. That's life, man. That's life. And if you don't have the edge that you need in order to kind of deal with all those kind of things, you're not going to survive. You're not going to succeed. And that's been the problem with the Joe Philbins of the world, the Adam Gases of the world, and now Brian Flores. It's interesting because they're three different characters. Adam Gase was a weird, smart-ass, hard-ass. Flo was one of those just flat-out hard asses that didn't really have any flexibility. Joe Philbin had no flexibility whatsoever and was set in his old ways that just did not jive with younger players, with younger people. It's just one of those things. So it's, Randy Shannon, same thing. A lack of people skills. And you got to have them, man. So if you're Chris Grier, find the guy that knows how to work the locker room. Find the guy that knows how to handle a crazy intense player, a mellow focus player, the guy that maybe you got to watch out a little bit because he's super talented, but he can get off the rails really easy. The immature kid that just got into the league and mentally and physically, it's all a challenge for him. You got to be able to handle all of that. And you got to know how to handle the different people. One guy you can scream at, the other guy you can massage, the other guy you got to psych out, the other guy you got to inspire. That's just the way it is. And if you don't have the edge to be able to, go in all those directions, you can't be a head coach. So if I'm Chris Grier, Marvin Allen, and Reggie McKenzie, to answer your question in a long-winded way, I trust all three of them. But if I want to keep them around, go get yourself a coach that focuses in on the players that he's given, on the scheme that he has to develop every week, on the assistant coaches that he needs to help him build a football team and a culture. Not a guy that is worried about firing the PR guy or worried about what a writer says to go rip the writer an a-hole or just fighting with players and showing them up in the middle of a practice like he did with Kenny Stills, that you go embarrass Kenny Stills in front of his teammates. That doesn't go. That Flo wasn't sending a message there. He was telling everybody, hey, check out the a-hole I am. Because that's all they were saying while they were at that. Like, wow, what a D-bag, dude. I can't believe he's doing that to Kenny. So these are all the things that they've if they can focus on personnel, but they need to get the coach that just focuses on coaching. Because you know what? None of the guys available anyways have earned the right to say, I can pick my players too. Okay? Including Jim Caldwell. Although I might allow Caldwell. No, not might. I will allow Caldwell to tell me whatever he thinks about the quarterback position. Okay? And if he doesn't like Tua, then you go with that. How about that? That's one guy I would trust because he knows that position better than McKenzie, Greer, and Allen. Okay? That one position. Now, if Caldwell wants to coach Tua, then I'm all for it. But Caldwell would be the one guy I would trust in that position because I've watched him develop it. I've watched him help people overachieve. And to me, that's enormous. That shows me coaching. And that's what Caldwell has done his entire life. He's a hell of a coach, hell of a person too. Guy, that's the other thing I like about Caldwell, man. He's not the guy that's going to lose it. He knows how to handle all these kind of characters. That's the good thing about that. But if Greer, McKenzie, and Allen want to be here for a long time, get the coach that can make a difference in the locker room and on the field and with his coaching staff. You don't need a fourth personnel director. You've got 3 personnel guys. You don't need a fourth. Okay? That's all I would say. How does a coach even have time for PR department? Doesn't he have anything better to do? LOL. That's the problem. That's, the coaches. Pat Riley's not worried about things like that, dude. He'll have other people in the organization reach out to a media member or somebody that isn't doing their job or whatever. They'll do that. But Pat Riley's not going to be worried about that kind of stuff. That's the difference, man. You just got to get the people that actually are focused on winning. That's what I freaking love about the Heat organization. They're just wired perfectly. They're not perfect because there's no such thing as a perfect organization because there's no way you're going to win a title every year. But damn, dude, they are near perfect as an organization. They're run so well. Everybody knows their job. Everybody does their job. And I don't care if it's PR, tickets, promotions, or, of course, the basketball team. Doesn't matter what it is, dude. Everything is run just amazingly in that organization. And that's what everybody else is striving for. I think the Panthers are there already. They just got to get that deep run, the title, and kind of get over the hump and show everybody. But they've got the ownership. Their people are amazing, and they've figured out everything on the ice finally. And Zito was like the piece, dude. That's just like, wow, brought it all together, man. Holy crap, that guy's a badass. So let's hope that the Dolphins can get there because they've got good people. Tom Garfinkel is phenomenal. He's done a great job with that organization. The way they've built up the stadium, the new practice facility, everything that they've done, saving the tennis tournament, the F1 races coming, all of these things that they're just great custodians of a team and for this for this community.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.